First up, key squares. The crucial path to promotion makes up the very core of pawn endgames. Opposition in hand, white will win. Opposition comes in next. As the most basic form of corresponding squares, the one who holds it holds the advantage. This is a draw. To exploit opposition, outflanking is crucial. Sometimes correspondence comes in more dynamic ways. Infiltration succeeded, white will win. Sometimes squares are untouchable. In this case, e5 and f3 are mined, and black is in Zugzwang. Triangulation is the king maneuver that loses a tempo but puts the opponent in Zugzwang. And white wins. For black to hold a draw in this position, he must understand which squares are in correspondence. King f3, king d1, king e3, king c1, king d4, king b1, king c5, king a2, king b4, and black arrives in time to stop the white king's assault. The black king is within the square, so theoretically it can stop the pawn, but the hope of defense is destroyed by white. d5, brilliant move. E takes d5, a4, and promotion is not stoppable. Sometimes the king outside the square can save the game, with the help of another passer. King g7, h4, king f6. Now with the threat of promotion, black is forced to respond, and white comes back just in time. For the case of two passed pawns, the floating square rule states, if the square reaches the edge of the board, one pawn will queen. Otherwise, the king can capture both if there are two or less files between them. a4, king b4, e4, king a4, e3, and black wins. A king cannot beat three untouched connected passers, but in rare cases of Zugzwang, white will win. No matter what black plays, the white king can capture the pawns, and the black king cannot move. Generally, white wins queen versus pawn endgames through the zigzag, like this. And normally black must play king c1, blocking his own pawn and allowing the white king to come closer. But king a2, queen c2 is just a stalemate. In summary, rook and bishop pawns lead to draw, but other files lead to wins. In rare cases, the white king is close enough to ensure victory no matter what. Pawn races require careful calculation. In this case, black loses by a single move. And white promotes and controls the promotion square of the black pawn. King activity values a lot, sometimes even larger than the price of a pawn. King c7, c3, king b6. The black king comes around, sacrificing the pawn, but down a pawn, up a game. And one of the two pawns, a2 or b4, will fall. What route the king takes matters too. King c2, king g4, king d3. And here, black employs shouldering, keeping the white king away from the pawns and getting there just in time. Other king routes include zigzag and the pendulum. With an absent king and unstable pawn structure, breakthroughs can happen. This is a classic example. c4, d takes c4, a4, ba, b3, cb. After sacrificing 3 pawns, the d3 pawn cannot be stopped. This is the power of an outside pass pawn, luring the king, and black wins by capturing the pawns. Rook pawns struggle to promote, but not when 2 on 1. a5, king g7, etc. The white king comes in time to ensure promotion. We can summarize. If the rook pawns has crossed the middle of the board, it is a win. With a pawn on the c8, h3 diagonal, it is a draw. Every square behind is a tempo for white. Every square the rook pawns are behind the middle is a tempo for black. White can only win with extra tempi. Special king positions take special considerations. Protected pass pawns limits king movement, but it is not always decisive. In this case, it is a draw. White has no way to proceed. When pawns are too strong to be attacked by the king directly, undermining is required. King e5. Move by move, with careful preparation, the goal is achieved. Position 20 is one of my favorites. With the extra mobility of the white king, white can actually win. Through triangulation, white can push the black king back. And g6 is the crucial step. Afterwards, king up and the pawns will promote, even with checkmate. White wins. f5. White possesses 2 extra tempi, saving the game. 1 tempi spent, another spent, but the black king cannot get out of the a1, a2 cage. Moving a second rank pawn takes position, stated by the Steinitz rule. And now only 1 step, because the pawns arrive just in time to promote. Now we enter knight endgames. King in the corner is oftentimes bad. Black can save this insane endgame because the knight cannot lose a tempo, thereby it is a draw, different from other pieces. Here, a sacrifice is needed, and the knight cannot stop the pawn. To stop the pawn, the knight must stand on one of these 4 squares to defend. The rear is the way to go. With this, white can protect the pawn safely with the knight and bring the king over. Botvinnik famously stated that knight endgames are basically pawn endgames. Pawn endgame rules still apply in knight endgames. In this great example, the move b6 violates Stein's rule, not carefully deciding how to push a second rank pawn. Here, black employs widening the beachhead, giving the king more activity, and in the end is able to win. The knight is trapped. The stronger side has a decent winning chance in 4 versus 3 position. If black and 4 trades, it is a draw. But let us go through this position together and possibly remember it to learn how to beat your opponent in 4 versus 3 endgame, 4 versus 3 knight endgames. With careful progress, the pawns are pushed up the board, and finally a pass pawn has been created. A brilliant knight sacrifice, and 2 weaknesses are existing on the board, crucial for the win. After more maneuvering, white finally got there in time, and the h6 pawn is falling. White has finally broken through and is about to win. Oftentimes this is draw, especially after king g8, but since this is white first, black king cannot near. This is a famous endgame position, and black has a key drawing zone. The squares marked here are the squares that the black king must stay inside in order to get back in time to draw. Here is an example. Though the king has been exiled all the way over, it is still not enough. The black king can always get back in case the white king is trying to capture the a4 pawn. Notice that always in these situations, the bishop are opposite color with the promotion square. Similarly, this is also a draw. The king makes camp on g8 and cannot be disturbed. Another draw. King h8, and it is simply a draw. If white does not sacrifice the bishop, there is no way to proceed without stalemating the black king. Here the bishop cannot defend passed pawns down 2 diagonals, so there is a crucial move to defend only 1 diagonal, and this is a draw. Otherwise, it is a win for black. The final position, showing the importance of bishop attacks against 2 connected passed pawns. Here, with the help of the bishop, the pawn structure has been forced to push forward and has been lured into a drawn position. The black king can come back and defend just in time. This is the first part of the 3-part endgame tutorial series. I will be covering 99 positions in total in a matter of minutes. I hope you enjoyed. If you don't understand anything in this video, I am glad to answer you in the comment sections. Because I understand that most of you hate watching long videos, I made this video super short. If you can remember every single position covered and understand them, you will master pawn endgames and pawn-related unbalanced endgames as well. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. The second part will be coming out pretty soon. Stay tuned. Bye.